When they decided to truly retire after I started, it was this moment of realization that they felt the Carter Center was in good hands. Not just my hands, but my colleagues. 3,500 people work at the Carter Center, and only a few hundred are here in Atlanta. And for them to feel that their legacy was going to be carried on was this moment of relief for all of us. We've always dreaded this day. We didn't want it to come, but the reality is they're together now, and that's what mattered to him, and so we are heartened by that.
Well, most people think President Carter started and ran Habitat for Humanity, which is not the case. But what is true is that when he got involved in 1984, that put it on the map. It was a tiny organization, and no one had ever seen a former president of the United States sleeping in a church basement, physically working on rehabbing a tenement building on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And that image just captured imaginations all over, and that began this extraordinary 35-year run of building somewhere in the world every year. And everywhere he went, he raised up volunteers and supporters and advocates for the cause of affordable housing. And so it's really hard to separate Habitat and President Carter in terms of the depth of impact he and Mrs. Carter had.
The JimmyCarterTribute.org site has the full schedule, but he will come up here on Saturday for his final visit to the Carter Center, and he will lay in repose Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. He'll leave to go to Washington on Tuesday, and he will lay in state at the Capitol in Washington, and then there'll be a funeral on Thursday at the National Cathedral. And all of this is part of the official state funeral, and we're very honored that the administration and all of the security and patrols and federal agencies have come together to make sure he gets his final send-off from Washington.
A bad story that turned good, one of my favorites, we were building in 2017 in Canada, 150 homes for the 150th anniversary of Canada, and we were in Winnipeg on a very hot day, and President Carter was working too hard. And he bent down, got a little bit dizzy, and just out of an abundance of caution, Secret Service rushed him off. And unfortunately, all the cameras were lined up, so we were about to have a press conference. This was all captured. He called me a little bit grumpy from the car, and I said, "What do you want me to tell the press?" And he said, "Tell them I'm fine and get back to work." And and knowing his faith, knowing that he's finally reunited with his beloved Rosalind, I think his message for all of us would still be, I'm fine and get back to work.